DCKO early access overview, some things you might not know about, some surprises, some developer responses. Let's have a look at the game. So I'm incredibly excited to welcome you into what is DCKO. Make sure to subscribe and put post notifications on all for more information. We've got lots of videos planned for now, and also as part of the time frame of the server slam. And the version and the breakdown can be found in the pinned comment in the description as well. It'll be time coded, so you can click on things if you're interested in different topics throughout this video. You'll get access, or those that should get access as part of the server slam, will see this version of the game. The developer does want to stress though, this is an early, unfinished version of the game with unfinished content. So we'll have to treat this more as a test, and during future tests, that some things may not be good. Some might be laggy, some might be buggy. Make sure to give the developer some good feedback. All gameplay and footage is captured using an iPad 2021, and I'll be giving my opinions and thoughts based on this particular device's performance. In the preparation as well for this video, I've given the developer a lot of questions, and they've provided feedback to most things, but there are some stuff, and there's a lot of questions a lot of us, I think, have. And we'll try and cover that in this video. The developer is actively looking to fix a lot of bugs, and whilst I've been recording this video, they have been fixing a bug that I've submitted. So they are doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which you might see a few changes here and there, depending on performance and stability and how many people access this. But anyway, let's get into the different sections of this video, starting with playing the game or fight mechanics. It's hard to really know what is the exact or best way to play this game in terms of pattern of play. Do I become quite aggressive? Not so aggressive? Do I lean into grabbing, the grab and tech if you're jostling for position? Or am I looking to be aggressive and then constantly switch out for enemies, building up combos, and then doing a nice kind of chain of things, like I'm trying to do now? I've got grab up, throw down, and then rush back in again. Well, I whiff. So I can't have that ultimate aggression of play, but I've got to be quite careful at the same time, depending on level of difficulty, interactions, and various other things as well. Being totally aggressive isn't exactly the way to go. And there's also micro little abilities which you need to be cautious of. Like at the moment, there's a sticky grenade that's attached to this assassin fight right here. So ultimately, I've got to figure out a way to interact with that to explode it, which I think I've just done, or I might have messed up in doing. But there's a lot of nuance to this in terms of the best form of play and rotation. This is why in like early plays, it feels like the PvP is more flushed out for this aggressive kind of not anticipating what you're doing. In a PvE setting, which you do have to do in order to grab some of the resources to rank up, level up, improve abilities, improve supers, which we'll talk about later on in this video, it seems like there is a bit of a difference there in maybe play styles that you'll have to adopt. Like on intercepting, here's an interesting point from the developer. When two sides both perform medium attacks, the side which initiates the move first will win. If they happen at the same time, a clash will happen. In this video, you're going to see a lot of footage of that particular stuff, maybe in action of like characters coming together, and then you've got to go, okay, boom, you kind of like, not exploded, but you kind of clashed out of it. If you're like locked in a position, then it takes one to just kind of uppercut and take the enemy out. Sorry, I'm doing these actions. If you're ever stuck for whatever reason on any kind of controls or reteaching yourself, the pause button tells you what is tap and tap plus hold, and gives you some level of instruction, like tap and hold for special ability. And then you've got the swipe mechanics here of, well, one can do a dash, medium attack, dodge, heavy attack, tag in, combo tag. These are going to be some things that will take some time and learning, because there are extra depth and elements to playing on this. Whether a controller version in the future, a PC version, or indeed people playing on BlueStacks will help towards that, I can't really say, although I don't know whether or not the game is going to be allowed to be on BlueStacks. Any other emulator for that matter. A bit more on playability. So the developer was asked about some just interactions and said about after medium attack enters dash animation, it will have an armor against light attack. So if you stop the dash with a light attack, when opponent gets close, the opponent will be unstoppable and still hit you. There's definitely a lot of complexities in terms of the level of interaction, and like what you do is going to be important. Like I don't want to be completely pummeled each time, and if I do a medium, obviously I want to be able to hit the enemy, and timing being very important. Like we can constantly just watch right here and go, okay, well I'll move out there. Okay, I got it in. So it's all about making the right decision at the right time. Possibly. But let's face it, when you get into a PvP setting, you're going to be frantically tapping and frantically swiping because the fight will rage on in that particular, well, scenario, and you might be like, well, I need to act quickly. You might do something where you become aggressive, swipe down for a switch out to Batman, switch into like one like attack right there, and then right into another one for a super combo tag team bonanza and blitz the fight. That may happen, it may not. It does feel like there's a level of perfectionism that you have to play, and that can be good, but also punish those that maybe don't play so perfect, which of course creates a bit of a quandary. But it's still alpha, and there's still things that could change about the game as they tune the game to a more palatable experience for you, whether you're good at the game or bad at the game, or just average at the game and just like DC characters, whatever you enjoy about it. There's also a healing system as well, revives, health potions, and it looks like boosts at some stage, but that again may be a placeholder, and we may happen to have it in the future. Or it's to do with some other elements, which is similar to rifts, where you go in, you pick something that's going to boost you and buff you, and then you go on your merry way doing more damage. Okay, let's talk about Legends, rarity of Legends, and how many are included with this particular playtest. Now, I don't have all of them unlocked. It feels like the way you have to do that is by summoning, repeating back content, grabbing resource, spending said resource, or trying to get more summons. But you've got Bane, Batman, Blue Beetle, Catwoman, Constantine, Cyborg, Doomsday, Nightwing, Robin, Starfire, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Zatanna. And yeah, you also have these little minions, which I think are helpful, but it's not really confirmed. Like, they must be like the lower end of what you get as part of summons, and maybe just bolster up and boost up your roster. There also appears to be like a rarity system, so you've got common, alpha, and omega. Of course, you want to get yourself the omega because they're going to be like better versions. Now, that is a very early stage based thing, and I don't know if this is a placeholder or future things are going to be like, well, this is a little bit scary in terms of maybe money investment, but it's too early to say anything because it's an alpha and everything could be a placeholder. Because the main focus or progression loops for this game are going to be levels, ranks, which you can see we can rank up now for Batman, but need some resources in order to get those particular levels elevated. There's also supers, which is like your special attacks, and those can be leveled up as well. Also, under abilities, the more that you get the particular character, the more you have this Hypertime ability. So you can see the level ups are located right there. The more levels, the more damage potential the character has. Or tag team ability interaction based on association, based on hashtags. There's also runes, but the way that I talked to the developer about this is seen as a placeholder whilst they make decisions about what runes should be. I did ask because I did think that you could change the classes, which we'll talk about in a minute, but no, you can't switch the classes, and like I said, this is a placeholder. I did ask, is it like a mastery system? But like I said, it's a bit of a placeholder for now until the game is fully flushed out. Of course, the biggest thing is like, is there any extra microtransactions in terms of getting tokens to get these supers elevated, therefore do more damage, have different types of stat bonuses? Look, don't know, still an alpha, we're making assumptions, but yes, there are locations where you can go and grab more of these tokens or play content or get lucky or get summons and get lucky as well with getting some of these supers up to improve damage over all of your DC Legends. And I think it's encouraged to check out the store, because if it does have those level of resets, maybe free things as well that are given out in the store, then that can be reinvest back into elevating up, ranking up, leveling up supers, leveling up the character themselves, all of the helpful things. Okay, let's quickly confirm the classes, something that I've had this suspicion about. Anyway, you've got tactics, resilience, agility, and might. And something of note, underneath the ability section, there's specifics on how to perform these particular techniques, whether it be something as, well, simple as blocking, well, we all know how to do that, tag team abilities and tagging in. But there are also other abilities like this gauge ability right here that mix into Scarab Blast, which is all about trying to get as many charges as possible as you're able to activate the Scarab Blast, dealing shock damage equal to times whatever percent it is, and then of course that equals more damage as well. I mean, it's all damage at the end of the day, but ultimately it's all about ramp build up, looking out for these things like building the charges, focusing maybe on if it's like a tap or it's a swipe or a medium or a light. That allows you to build said charges that you then know how to play the character, if that's what I'm trying to kind of get to explain to you. So a system that I'm a little bit unsure about, but I'm kind of getting there, it's summoning. Summoning is looking a little bit scary to me, but also maybe not. Yeah, effectively, you put something in here, it's going to open up, and then theoretically, it's going to be a character that you get. Plus, you might get an extra token or two or helpful materials. Like in opening up, it looks like you pick up some supers, which then looks like it's either going to be compatible with various different characters, which then means it acts as a token, as you mentioned earlier, and therefore you'll be able to level up your supers, making them more powerful. It also looks like upon dupe that there's some special shards that you get. Anyway, back to coverage on other stuff with summons. You can see here that it seems to be a pity system or a grace system. Once the bar is full, you're guaranteed to summon one of your wish-listed legends, which is it's pretty cool. That's a wish-list mother box. And we touched upon earlier in the video that there does seem to be a rarity system, whether or not these are the 3 only rarities, with these expanding at a later date, between being that Omega, the base alpha, and of course the common system, which is a bit different because that's more of like a, well, these minion characters. Also, the shard that I was mentioning that you got as duplicating a DC legend was an Alpha Echo. So whatever an Alpha Echo is in terms of reusing, not 100% sure on that, but I can imagine it does help out either to the Hypertime abilities or it's something else. So yeah, the more that you summon stuff, as we said, it's better for the character overall. Quickly on to monetization, you can see in the top right hand corner, I think we've got Luther coins, which I don't think are the premium ones, but it's definitely these gems. We have a battle pass. I can imagine that's going to be something you can buy in game. But the main point the developer wanted to share is that progression is accelerated. Anything monetization related is all placeholder, and they're testing functionality. So I'd like to say take everything with a pinch of salt. Like, I don't want to assume stuff. I've seen stuff that I'm like, I'm not sure about this. But then it could be just there as a placeholder idea until they flush out, feedback. Also, just like if what they're doing is right, what they actually plan as a monetization model, because they obviously will need to make something. Is there a free-to-play progression? Is there a high spender versus free-to-play stomping? We don't know. It's all assumption, so I think we'll just leave it like that. To the point of customization, if you go down to costumes, you can switch between them. I don't know, obviously there's going to be more at a later date, but from what I gather, they're only doing a slim amount. Also, to the extent of will there be any extra tokens and how you collect these, I think is another good point. Like Robin. Whilst I think you can get Robin an extra costume or his old costume, which you can see right here, and we can equip that as being the new one. So how you get that is part of like just the general missions that you'll take part in. So I don't know if that's going to be the alt costumes you get in missions or not. Clicking back to overview, it does mean that you can use the character or see the visualization of the character. And if you go back to costumes and you click on the bio, you can get a rotation there of the character in a nice 3D animation, which I love this, by the way. On the PvE and PvP side of things, first of all, the PvE, it looks like you can take a team of 4 into things like rifts and other places to at least just prepare yourself for what could be difficult fights, very easy fights. It depends how you want to look at this particular content. Depending on the type of quest, you may be given something like here, like a booster of some description. If you bring in characters that bleed enemies, then that could be something to click be positive. If you're setting up a different way with different characters, then you might go grit. There's many, by the way, that you can check booster wise, buff wise, whatever you want to refer to these as, but it adds an extra element of improvement and fun to your characters when you take them into to quest. Some quests have repeatable rewards, which means you can refarm these. Can be handy if you're looking to level up some of your heroes, so some refarmability seems to be key. And a big thing at this stage is what's going to be the replayability. Is it going to be the PvP side of things? Is it going to be going to the store, picking up another access into something like rifts? Well, that may be the case, going back, doing a new rift that appears, and that's your refarmability for the game. But you start off going through the tutorial and the early missions to just get a flavor of what's going on. According to the developer, there is going to be a story narrative to this game, but that's not something they're willing to share right now. I guess to get you around like what's the reason for them all falling out, what's going on, is there a little story building to another one, and there's a tangible cadence to it. We'll have to see. And PvP. Okay, the PvP side of things is incredibly fun. It is very intense in terms of movement, in terms of getting things right, maximizing potential of getting your abilities locked in, rotations. There's a lot of big things that change quickly, timing stuff, patterns of play. Look, I'm just giving you a load of fluff words, but you know what I mean. When you start playing the game in terms of like a fighting game, you've got to react quickly. And if you're not with those kind of quick reactions, you can have situations where it don't look good, bruv. It don't work out, bruv, and stuff like that. So you really have to think about who you're putting together as your 2v2. There's also the other implication of strength versus strength and how much you elevate your own characters in terms of will they match up? Will matchmaking hold a big part of this? And that again is going to be a big factor to this game. That look, it's an early access. It's too early to really have a great opinion on this stuff. But what I see is fun. Yeah, it can be challenging, like most games, and there's stuff that we don't know in terms of monetization at the moment. But see, I'll throw it over to you, and you can see for yourself and go, do you like it? Do you not? As starts go, and in early access, yep, thumbs up. I'll say it's fun. I've enjoyed myself so far. I do need to figure out how the AI works in terms of like its reaction time to me and what I'm doing. That's why I think the PvE side of things, it needs a little bit more work in terms of AI fairness versus what the PvP is, which is very different. I'm glad that PvP is the main factor of this game, but PvE is also important in terms of farming resource, which look, that may be something we find out a little bit more in terms of the PvP and other elements as well. Like, I'm not saying it's all one way or the other. It's still something that this is early access. So there's a lot of things in the alpha that we still need to figure out what's happening. And the developer needs to go, well, we're going to change in this direction, that direction, which overly not complicates, but changes the way you might perceive the game in the future, coming close to launch. It's just trial and error, but I had fun, and that's the main thing when it comes to this. It's having fun. Just for those interested, I played 6 hours before recording this video. If you're interested, like how long I played up until this particular point. So yeah, 6 hours, including write-up, and then now I'm going to make the video and edit it together because it's raw at 1 hour, and this video isn't going to come out as 1 hour. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Please check out the channel as more content and coverage will be coming very, very soon as well, whilst we're in the server slam, which some players will have access to. Others may not. Check your invites. You may be seeing an opportunity to play. Anyway, I'm out of it. I'll see you later on, and goodbye.